Legends. James here from Gamma Flare. Indianapolis delivered pure GT3 chaos. Aggressive moves, huge saves, and massive drama across both races. Let's hit the key moments shaping round 9. Heat 1 came alive from the green flag. Only minutes in, Sebastian Bade and Connor Franson tangled, triggering early chaos. The battle intensified as Robert Henry went 3 wide, with Matthew Gerard and Sean McNamara, ending with McNamara spinning into the grass. Fraser Clegg was turned after contact with Gerard, losing crucial spots. Alex Sprague took the win in race 1, with Adam Hughes in second and Darren Lobb taking third. The feature race exploded on lap 1. Alex Sprague spun into the wet grass, battling Christian Hermansen, while Jarko Fentar ran wide, handing Jet Adams and Matthew Gerard prime positions to pounce. When the chaos settled, Fraser Clegg took victory, Adam Hughes in second, Darren Lobb in third. That's all from me in the paddock. Now over to the broadcasting lounge team to bring it home. Next up, the brutal wall-to-wall street circuit of St. Petersburg. Keep it pinned.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Supercars NZ Round 10 of our GT3 Winter Series, presented to you by MRP here at St. Petersburg. We are closing in at the end of this championship. My name is Brandon Stark, and alongside me, joining us all the way from England, you'll know his voice from outside of us, but he's finally joined us here. Please help me in welcoming Jake Sparry. Jake, welcome to the lounge.
Thank you very much, and what a joy it is to jump in at one of the important circuits in the world of American racing out there, St. Petersburg. Truly wonderful in terms of what it does. It sets out the IndyCar season opener. It brings amazing racing over here time and time again. And in GT3 spec, this is where you're going to have to be really respectful about the way that you look to charge around today, because this is one of those few circuits in the world of iRacing where you say you cannot attack this circuit. This circuit must be respected.
It certainly is one of those tracks, Jake. I completely agree with you. Well, before we head into the rest of the qualifying session, let's quickly remind everyone about a competition that we are running to win a sim.
Have joined forces to give away an awesome sim racing hardware package. One winner will score this core hardware setup Track Racer TRS 40 cockpit, a Scala's bucket seat fixed pro, and the Moser R3 racing bundle. Click the competition link, fill out the entry form, submit your details, job done. Then make sure you're watching the live final of the Supercars NZ Winter Series on the Match Fit Entertainment YouTube channel. Good luck. We'll see you on the grid.
Welcome back, everyone. Don't forget to scan that QR code. The draw will be done in a couple of weeks' time at the conclusion of the Supercars NZ final round of Supercars on Tuesday nights. Also in the booth with us tonight, going to be just helping us with the pictures and also giving us race control calls is Shane White and Wayne Bloor. So shout out to them for joining us. And then, of course, in race control, we have Dylan Radford, Peter Vanderberg, Louis Robinson and Dion de Graaf as well, also joining in there as well. Grant Bristow has also joined them up in this one. So, Jake, just to give you a quick rundown of how this works, 15-minute qualifying session, you're only allowed 2 flying laps. Once those 2 are done, you cannot go out for another one. So far, Alex Sprague leads with a 1:11.1, Jet Adams and Blake Greenhall closely behind him.
Yes, so it means that you're on a limited time to get that pace up. That didn't look good for Valtteri Bottas there, who ended up a little bit spun around over the top side of the circuit around Pioneer Park. So wouldn't have been too happy about that in the 721, but it does put emphasis on when you go and make your times. And actually, on a circuit lap here, which is under 72 seconds for the fastest drivers out there, this is also a pressure cooker in terms of when you go out there and set your qualifying time, because in sim time is about 10:30 in the morning. So if you're looking at track temperature here today, which is already soared up to a balmy 38 degrees Celsius or about 97 Fahrenheit, you're turning around and looking at it saying, well, do I want to be late out then with my qualifying time, seeing what everyone's got, if the track might heat up a little bit more? Driver's eyes view then here with Valtteri Bottas working through turn 2, past the Salvador Dali Museum and on to turn 3, and this long run past the Fountain of Youth and Al Lang Stadium over to turn 4.
Yeah, very tight entry at this point. You can see here just how much curb he's have to use and how tight this entry point is here into 5 and 6 now. And look at this, just coming through this concrete canyon now through turn 8. Little short shoot up towards here into turn 9 and down this long back straightaway. A little bit of a curve in this one. You just see how much pace he's found now in this lap. Through the little kink there, watch the wall on the right-hand side. Now deep under the brakes into turn 10. This is going to be a really good flying lap here from Vota. You can see the speed there on the bottom right-hand of your screen here through this little flip-flop section, coming up to what would generally be the finish line for qualifying in IndyCar. Round the hairpin now, it turns 14, and he comes up towards the start finish line. Let's see where this lap puts him. Chopping up through those gears, and he's currently in P20, and he jumps up to P5. What a lap for Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah, be happy with that. 111.9, so it's going to be 8/10 off of the place of Alex Sprague there, who's up at the top. Jensen Bade and Sebastian Bade, the two Bades, second and third at the moment, with Jarko Venter then in third spot as far as things go for the moment. So it's all about giving yourself room and opportunity. Fraser Clegg currently on screen right now, piloting around in the Ford Mustang. Very blocky car, but it's always very well put together. It can survive the lumps and bumps better than anywhere else, and this might be a circuit where it works. Currently on his first flying lap attempt of 3 allotted in the sims, so this will be a chance then for Fraser Clegg to really just get an understanding of what this circuit brings, how much the differences are going to be as he walks now along here. Bayshore Drive, the flick left at 200 kilometers an hour, and on the brakes in front of that Salvador Dali Museum and on to Dan Weldon Way.
Yeah, down the iconic Dan Weldon Way, of course, in honor of Dan Weldon, IndyCar driver, who unfortunately we lost what, more than 10 years ago now. It's a real shame. But Fraser Clegg now rounding the last couple of corners, now coming through on his first flying lap. Let's see where this puts him at the moment. Let's see him chopping up those gears. He is still to get in there. There he goes. So he's P8. So not a bad time for him, but also want to keep an eye out. Adam Hughes and Dylan Shepherd for OPR Gamma Flare Sim Racing are about to come out. Now, if you have not seen a lap, Jake, from Adam Hughes in this series, you're about to be in for a bit of a treat. He knows how to throw this Mustang around and keep it on the rails.
He does, and he's going to be very much a driver who is going to be either all out or all in. His time in practice was a 111.2. Now, if he can match that, that's good enough for the front row, but those times were set in cooler conditions than what we have. So I reckon that everyone is about half a second shy of what they were doing in practice trim, because this circuit has heated up, and so with extra heat out there, you find yourself on a dog walking to egg frying ratio out there. It's something of, okay, if the track's too hot to walk your dog, it's hot enough to fry an egg, and at the moment, you want to be babying those tires because we're in pure egg fry territory. Working hard then, in through turn 5 and 6, through the car park, and out over to Pioneer Park. Now turn 7, 90-degree right. You got an immediate one following as you pass the boat club on the left-hand side, moving through onto Bayshore Drive, and the drive back towards Albert Whitted Airport out there. And there's 3 airports around this one, including a US naval base around this section. There's a lot of air traffic that comes through here. Too heavy over the curb then, and that's going to be a back out of the lap there, Brandon, to try and get that second lap a little bit better. If you put the heat into the tires, anytime you get to cool them down, it's going to be huge for the next attempt.
Unfortunately, you can just see Judd used a little too much of that curve there, and unfortunately it had tapped the wall as well. So that will have unfortunately slowed him up a little bit. So he's going to go one more time and see what he can do. Fraser Clegg, meanwhile, up to P3. Adam Hughes did back out a little bit, but it's still good enough for P10. So he might go for one more flyer here to end the session. We're a minute and 20 seconds away from the conclusion of this one. So not many cars out there at the moment. Last few trying to get their laps in. Dylan Shepherd into P20 at the moment. So we'll see where Adam Hughes finishes up here. We'll keep an eye on him through this section here. There's Dylan Shepherd there in the other Mustang. Great to see him back in the series. back behind the seat. He's been away for a little while. Down the back straight now towards Dan Weldon Way. See how he takes the curb here. Or just misses the curb there. We'll try not to use too much of that curb through the flop here. The right and the left onto the hairpin now. See if he improves his lap time. Round out of the final corner onto the main straightaway. Puts the hammer down. And does he improve? He goes up to P11. Watch out for Adam Hughes in the background. Does he get any better? He does. He goes P4.
That was very much a case of Dylan Shepherd painting by numbers in the lap. Adam Hughes, very good in terms of the way he chucked that lap around there, gets himself to the second row of the grid, and the confidence level is going to have to start peaking from certain drivers out there. Fraser Clegg finding the times late, and opportunities being presented in this two-heat format that we have for racing action tonight.
Yeah, a bit of an update for everyone as well following. If you've been following the series all season long, bit of a format change for tonight. We have a 20-minute and a 30-minute race. One compulsory pit stop included. The pit window opens after 5 minutes for the two heats. So Alex Sprague on pole position, followed by Jensen Bade in the Ferrari, Fraser Clegg and Adam Hughes and Sebastian Bade 3, 4, and 5 in the Mustangs. Yoko Fenter and Darren Lobb in 6 and 7. Wouter Botha in 8th. Philip Antoon in 9th. And Robert Henry rounds out the top 10 in the Mercedes.
Dylan Shepherd will find his OPR Gamma Flare machine in 11th spot with Jet Adams, the company then on row 6. Blake Greenhall then is going to have Sean McNamara, very experienced character, there in 14th in the number 83. Leith Swinney then will have Zach Vent-Smith for company then 15th and 16th, as Matthew Gerard will be going from the 17th spot, as Aaron Goodrick will then find himself in 18th. Hoping not for a write-off tonight is Write-Off Jenkins, who's going to be there in 19th spot, and will be looking around at these walls as Nick Aston will find himself rounding out your 20.
21 is Kyle Bork in the Ferrari with Jonathan Turner, another Mercedes in 22. Brooke Wilson back in the series after only doing the first round, which was non-championship in the McLaren in P23. Braden O'Loughlin in 24, Peter Blackie, Scott Kinder and Stefan Adams rounding out the 27 cars we have. Matt Priest is also out the back, but he did not set a time, so he will be out the back there in the Ford if he stays out there. So that is our grid for tonight. Bit of more of a condensed field than what we used to, but I think it's I think everyone is just maybe not wanted to fight the concrete walls on a street circuit, because that's one challenge you get with a street circuit there. Jake, is a concrete wall fighting you at every turn.
A concrete wall, right and left, makes the toughest challenge out there for a driver as you look and push. They'll get one full formation lap before racing action starts. But the key is, this is a circuit that tests you at every corner. Every part of this track you can have an accident at, and the only place you're really safe to have a little bit of an issue is the final corner out here on circuit. Anywhere else, and you're pretty much destined for a bit of contact. I am not shocked to see a reduced field here today, because everybody wants a street circuit until a street circuit comes up on the calendar, because they realise, oh, hang on a minute, we actually have to go out and drive.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing with this street circuit compared to some of the others we've had is that this one's very, very bumpy. You know, and that's the only issue with this track that I can find compared to, say, other street circuits we've been to, such as Adelaide and maybe a couple of others. This track is very, very bumpy, so we'll keep an eye out on how that plays out. You can see the drivers now warming up those tires, get as much heat as they can into the rubber, and we'll keep an eye out on the battle in the championship, which is currently between Alex Sprague and Adam Hughes. Only 100 points is the gap leading into this one. So it is a close championship, and we'll see how it plays out. With 2 rounds left to go after this one, we got a Red Bull Ring and Suzuka. So thankfully no more street circuits after this, and I think they can breathe a sigh of relief for that one.
I'll tell you what they are looking at. I am looking at Alex Sprague here, who is just looking to try and get the heat into the tyres. And there are some drivers out there who can't have as much confidence with the amount of weaving left and right that they do. And it's short, aggressive bursts. You take a look here from this drone shot here of just how aggressive the weaving has to have been through the corners. You turn around and give big focus further behind. It's a lot wider, more arcing out there, even though this is a track temperature that is 41 degrees Celsius now as we move in some time towards 11 o'clock. They still want the opening couple of laps of tyre temp out there because those tyres would be stone cold on the car as we get ready through the final corner for this race start, Brandon.
We're about to go racing now. The iRacing Porsche safety car is going to pull off, and Alex Sprague will have lead of this one. See them all bunching up now. The lights are going to go on. When they go out, we go racing for 20 minutes. Remember, pit stop window opens after 5 minutes. We're away. Underway here at St. Petersburg for Winter Series Round 10. Look at them fan out 3, 4 wide. Does Alex get into turn 1 or watch for Jensen Bate around the outside? 2 wide, he gets it through. Watch for Adam Hughes. I think there's contact. Oh. It looks like there was. Alex Sprague has gone to the back there. A bit more
Track's jammed.
On there.
Track is completely jammed out there, and everyone behind is having to piece their way through turn 2. Look at it. It's a parking lot. Robert Henry still turned around out there. You've got Jonathan Turner still trying to pick his way through. It is going to be a litany of trouble on the opening lap of this race, and it might be one of the few times you turn around and say, with just how much damage there is back there, you might need to throw something out there to give everybody a half chance. But at the front of this field, it's calm here as far as it goes, but it is Jensen Bade who has got himself then a lovely margin to say, hey, look, I lead this one, Hugh second, Clegg third, and looking around, Alex Sprague is going to be way back down the order, having found himself caught up in all of that off of the start. It was crazy. We had 4 wide going into the opening corner.
We did. We had 4 wide through there. I was just a bit worried. We'll hopefully get word from Shane maybe later on if there was contact between Hughes and Sprague. It did look like it. But we'll see what the race control has to say, what the replay has to say. Fraser Clegg now in third in the Red Bull Mustang, trying to hold off Jaco Fenter in behind him. Sebastian Bade in behind them as well. Darren Lobb and Dylan Shepherd round out the top 7 at the moment. On board now with Bade, the number 22. Through turns 5 up into turn 6.
Safety car deployed. So that's So that's going to change things up. Safety car then is going to be deployed. And so this field is going to neutralize itself. And I think that's a correct decision because you're going to be seeing lots of cars that are damaged, out of contention. And these 20 minutes, they are now going to have a big old change out there. The instant starting with Alex Sprague, who ultimately has the issue right now in his Lamborghini for the Automotive Academy of no rear spoiler on the back of his car at the moment. So you see that there? It's just all strut. Strut, no spoiler up on the top. He's got a massive lack of aerodynamic downforce being put through the rear of the car. And now I think he'll be one of these drivers who's realizing I am going to have to fight on machinery that isn't quite where it's needed, but the need is going to be to bunch this field back up again. And with a handful of drivers all in trouble on the opening lap, Turner and Jet Adams did not make it round the opening lap. They'll be looking around at this going, okay, this is a chance to reset and get our race back where we need it. Some big gainers through the early stages. Stefan Adams looked really good off the start. You got Brooke Wilson up 11 and Carl Burke up 10.
Yeah, absolutely mega start there. Dion DeGraff for Team Simblacks is our safety car driver for the night. So shout out to him for driving the BMW race car there to be our safety car. But yeah, what an epic opening lap. Hopefully we can get a replay of just what went on there between Hughes and Sprague. That was absolutely amazing stuff. Shane, have you got anything from race control on that, or are they still working on it?
They are still working through it. I have gone back and had a look at what set off that big incident. It looks like Vota was the first one to go around. Looks like contact with Robert Henry as well as what set all that off.
Okay, can you just, here we go, replay coming up, thanks to Gamma Flare, and this is looking after the incident, I'm guessing. All right, sorry, our producer's having a bit of a blank moment there, trying to find us the right replay. Shane, can you just confirm for me, or even Jake, can you confirm for me, was there contact between Hughes and Sprague?
There absolutely was. I'll jump in on this one here. So this is an incident in two parts. So yes, there was an incident that happened in the middle, but it all started up through turn 2 where Adam Hughes gets into the back of Alex Sprague. Sprague ends up turned around halfway, but what doesn't help it either is that you've got Jarko Venter just behind him. It was a case of turning around, keeping Valtteri Bottas happy. Robert Henry was down the inside, and he gets himself involved into it with maybe a bit of help behind from Dylan Shepherd trying to push through. And then when you've already got one moment that's happened, the field checking up left, right, and centre, it then came across the circuit, the secondary incident, and then that caused the blockage in the middle of the track. So the top 10 had got themselves through. Everybody else had to stack up and wait. Quintessential of what you see at St. Pete. You see it in the IndyCars all the time.
Yeah, certainly is. So thank you for that one, Jake. Yeah, just a bit need some confirmation on that because it looked very, very close for sure at the opening lap, and it certainly is. So 5 minutes have passed, so the pit window is open. Remember, for this first race, it closes at the 15-minute mark, and then our next race, a 30-minute race, also opens up at 5 minutes, closes at the 25-minute mark. And don't forget, race 2 will be an inverted top 10. Safety car pulls away now, and we are about to get underway once again. Jensen Bade leads. Adam Hughes.
Kyle Burke's just dropped. Disconnect.
Oh, Kyle Burke has disconnected, and he was in P25.
Well, he was in P11 before the drop.
So he's dropped to P25. Must have been a big old connection drop there. Hopefully he can have that sorted for the rest of this one. So Jensen Bade will lead the field around for the restart. How many are going to duck into the lane and get that pit stop out the way? I wouldn't do it now. It's still a bit too condensed, but Adam Hughes thinks better of it. He's going to go into the lane, and so will a handful of other drivers. We get the restart underway with pit stops happening. Jensen Bade leads this one from Fraser Clegg.
I like the decision actually to come in and make a stop, and about half the field's decided it's time to do it because you're going to get clean air to go and work with to attack, and so this becomes a race in stages as they'll run down the lane. Clegg finding himself then in second spot after that restart, and look at what it's given Jensen Bade here. It's given him the modus operandi to just jump away at the front of this field, and he'll be very happy about the gap he's got. Jarko Venter third, Sebastian Bade in fourth, Darren Lobb finding himself in fifth place, but everybody else is staring down that stop. Adam Hughes out and away, and a long stop needed for Alex Sprague, who will now get himself off and going. Just taking a look over at the rule set as well, because it is always important to note that there is no limit on fast repairs here. So if he's broken the car, he's got a way to get that back, so he'll get a fresh rear wing. He jumps in the spare car and he gets back out and running at full bore, basically.
Yeah, here we go. So we'll keep an eye on Alex Sprague when he ends up at the end of this first one. Just keep an eye out also on P10. Whoever finishes P10 at the end of this one will start on pole for our next one. Right out to the wall goes Alex Sprague. He's really going to put the hammer down now as he goes on through. He's got Dylan Shepherd in front of him with Blake Greenhall behind. So Jensen Bade now has continued on. 1:11.8 is the best lap time so far for him. First proper flying lap time now since the start of this one. Big gap to Fraser Clegg at the moment. Watch out in the back now. Sebastian Bade might be looking for a move on Jarko Venter. It looks like he's got it done, or a bit slow through 5, and gets it done now. Now they put Jarko into the clutches of Darren Lobb right now.
There's a bit of contact there between Sebastian Bade and Jarko Venter, and so Jarko will feel like, okay, I took my line, I had a bit of space, it was just left too open on the inside, and Jarko here, look at this struggle for the McLaren here. It's struggling to put the power down. This is where Darren Lobb looks left, looks right, can't find a way here in a very damaged Ferrari. Just look at the front splitter as Adam Hughes is going to be black flagged out there for the contact he had on the opening lap of the race. That's mega in terms of what he's dealing with. But Darren Lobb, I'd love to get a front-on view of Darren Lobb's Ferrari right now, because the front splitter is bent up. He looks like he's walked into a bar fight out there with Bryden Cars.
It looks like he has walked into a bar fight there. You're right, Jake. That looks absolutely destroyed. I'm not too sure how he's looking aerodynamic-wise in that car. Still looking for moves on Jarko, but he's got Philip Antoon to worry about behind him. So it's a McLaren, a Ferrari and a McLaren, all battling out for P3 at this stage. You just see how much work is getting put into the steering of Darren Lobb's Ferrari. They're trying to make it around the corners.
Bottas around. Final corner, Valtteri Bottas is around and he's taken the toe back to pits. He's had contact as he's gone through the final corner out there with Peter Blackie, and he's just turned across the nose trying to get the clearance. It was so late on in the corner as it happened, and there's not much you can do. We'll catch it on the Gamma Flare Sim Racing instant replay. So the Porsche coming through the final corners here. It's going to run a little bit wide into the grass. It's going to open out and extend here, Brandon. But here's the key. How early do you put the power down? And Bottas moves across like Peter Blackie's just not there.
That's not what you want to see, unfortunately, for Peter Blackie getting caught out there, and Valtteri Bottas hitting the wall on the entry, trying to watch that, trying to regain back onto the track there, almost getting to the view of another car. So unfortunately, a bit of a bummer of a race there for Valtteri Bottas and Peter Blackie, unfortunately, trying to make it through there. But back to this battle at the front now. 10 minutes have elapsed, 5 minutes before that pit window closes. Keep that in mind. Adam Hughes is still going. There he goes in the pits now, as he tries to clear that black flag for himself. Jensen Bade, Sebastian Bade, and then this battle here between Jaco, Darren, and Philip Antoon still going through. Fraser Clegg is the best of our pit stops being done there in P6 at the moment. So we'll see where he ends up at the end of this one. Keep an eye on the battle here at the back. Jaco and Darren. Darren's not keeping up this one without a fight, even with that munted up splitter on his Ferrari.
Look at the way he closes down.
Stuff.
It's beautiful the way that they drive around St. Pete, and Jaco Venter in the 112s at the moment. He's about 0.6 of a second a lap slower than Jensen Bade, who's probably going to wait to the last possible moment to jump into the pit. Sebastian Bade is going to follow suit. So all of these drivers will be keeping an eye on when 15 minutes is, and probably will be pitting as late as they possibly can to go and make their stops. Now, I do want to point out, from those who have come in and pitted, Fraser Clegg is the leader of those who have come in at the moment and made a stop. But you've got this battle going on further back on screen here. This is Zach Vent-Smith, who's just come out of the pits in the Lamborghini, under pressure from Adam Hughes, who has just served the drive-through penalty to go through. You've got Right-Off Jenkins just behind that, working hard then into the final corner out there of turns 13 and 14, looking for the drive off the exit. This will be a move along the runway, I'd think, in towards turn number 1. If you get it wrong, you're off to the University of South Florida, because the campus is just a little bit further along. So Zach Vent-Smith, does he have enough on the brakes here? Oh, it's late to cover off that move, but he's just about done enough. Now, that's a little bit naughty. Some would call that moving under braking.
Yeah, that is a bit naughty there. Not sure how race control is going to view that one. Zach pushing a little too hard under the brakes there. You're right, there was a bit of movement under brakes, but knowing Adam Hughes will be trying his best, his utmost best, to try and get through, get up out of P12.
Lead is in.
All right, so the leaders are coming. That's Jensen, Sebastian, Jaco's in. Darren and Philip Antoon will stay out. Maybe do one more lap under this.
So the key here on this stop is going to be Fraser Clegg. Behind that, it's Dylan Shepherd, and it's also Alex Sprague, who are battling hard together right now in what is 7th and 8th spots. Look how close that Lamborghini gets staring to the back of that blue Mustang. They're run by run out there at this moment in time, and it's very nice there from Dylan Shepherd the way it goes. Now watch the merge here on pit exit, because you're chucked out into turn 2. Sebastian Bade is up to speed, and he's just ahead of Fraser Clegg. Jensen Bade has a mile's worth of gap out there. Jaco Venter comes out just behind Sprague and Shepherd.
That was absolutely mega stuff there by the Bade guys. And look at Jaco now, he's closing in there on Alex Sprague, who's found a bit of pace in the Lambo now. He's still going to hound the back of Dylan Shepherd. Just keeping an eye out on P10 and 11, Leaf Swinney and Adam Hughes. Remember, that's going to be our pole sitter for the next one, whoever finishes in P10 for this one, Jake. So Adam Hughes will be trying to fight his way up. We'll take a look at some of the other cars around there. Okay, so the gap's a little too big at this stage. We'll see if Adam Hughes can find a way through. He's managed to get past Zach Wentz-Smith as well in the Lamborghini, but so has Christian Jenkins. So this battle now still continuing on. And he just, oh, big crash in the background there. What happened there?
That's not great, and that is Right-Off Jenkins, who has gone straight on into the tyres as he's gone in. He's actually had help from behind. It was Zach Smith who missed his braking point, ran straight up the back of Right-Off Jenkins, and that's chucked him into the barriers. We'll take a look from onboard here as he looks to hit the brakes. Watch this, Zach Smith overcooks it in. There's the first contact, and then he can't slow it up right now. Well, he's going to be looking around into that aperture sign going, I wish I had a portal gun to get me out of that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is the nature of racing there. And oh, Dylan Shepherd's around. What's happened here? Got to watch the rejoin there now. Now he's going to have to wait. We'll take a look at the Gamma Flare Sim Racing instant replay.
Sprague's gone down the inside with contact.
Oh, okay, so that's what we're going to get you on the replay now. Let's see how much of a dive Alex Sprague pulls in here. You can see some more moves up ahead. Oh, there it is there. Oh, big hit.
I don't think that's Alex Sprague's fault. I don't think that's his fault. Dylan Shepherd has come across late to try and cover off the move there. And ultimately, when you've got a car diving up the inside, you're told every time when you're racing, be predictable. Now there's going to be a question here on Darren Lobb on whether he got into the pits in time. I think he just got in before the window closed on him, so he's going to be okay. But you have to be predictable under brakes. You can't move late when someone's diving up the inside and hope it's going to cover, because the moment you're committed, you're committed. You can't move across. You're just going to have an accident. And Dylan Shepherd, I'm going to be honest here, I think he sent himself in that. As now, look at this battle in front. Fraser Clegg round the outside of turn 4, inside of turn 5. And Sebastian Bade keeps his nose in. Next 3 right-handers. This is the second of them. And suddenly here, if you can just hold it round the outside here, it's going to be a case where Fraser Clegg's got to just well held by Sebastian Bade, though.
That is some fantastic driving there by Sebastian Bade to hold off Fraser Clegg. He's going to go defensive here, but watch as these two battle. Alex Sprague's going to come in and join the fight. A little bit of a crisscross maneuver there. Look at Fraser Clegg. He's got a little bit more speed out of the corner through the flip-flop section up and towards the hairpin. Deep under brakes. They're all sticking to the right-hand side of the circuit. I think Sebastian Bade's playing defense here, playing big-time defense. Trying to keep out Fraser Clegg now, 16 minutes down. Still got 4 minutes to go. We'll see if this battle rages on. And you can see, oh, Sprague deep under brakes there, trying to catch up to Fraser Clegg at the moment. The battles are still raging on through 2, 3, and 4 onto the straight here now, down towards 5. And you can see this now. Battle has now turned from a 2-car battle to a 3-car battle now, Jake. This is some epic stuff.
Jensen Bade's got a slowdown penalty. He's just served that at the front of the field. That's the yellow flag up there on our SDK timing tower that we've got on the left-hand side. Sebastian Bade, though, I think he's arguably had to have been over-defensive on that last lap, defending in places he didn't necessarily need to. Fraser Clegg, all of a sudden, is now going to be turning around and realising, right, I've gone from attack suddenly here to defence here, because Alex Sprague is now looking for his way to jump up onto the podium in this race in the final 3 minutes. So this is going to be all about who's going to want this one a little bit more out there, in my view. Lobb's come out in P5. We've got Antoon 6th, Venter is 7th, then Greenhull and Hughes. That's going to be pretty big. That Adam Hughes has now jumped himself up inside the top 10. Leith Swinney currently with pole for this second race, but no moves being offered then into the opening corners. But the key here is you've also got this little group that's trying to form right now. Greenhall then having to deal with Adam Hughes, who's thinking about the inside here, runs the centre of the airport and says, guess what? It's my departure flight out and up into another place.
There he goes, up into P8 for Adam Hughes. So he's pushing, getting up as high as he can. Capture himself a few more points. We've got 2 minutes left in this one. Don't forget Brooke Wilson there in 11th with Sean McNamara, who's got a slowdown next to his name in P12. Matthew Gerard, Aaron Goodrick, and Christian Jenkins rounding off the 15. There you can see Sean McNamara in that beautiful McLaren there. Our Supercars NZ admin loves to compete in a bit of GT racing, followed by Matthew Gerard, who's got Aaron Goodrick for close company here. So a couple of McLarens going at it down the back straightaway down towards what'll be turn 10. This is some epic stuff here, Jake.
McNamara is going to be a very busy man tonight because he's got the V8 Veterans League as well to cover just afterwards. That's a bit of wall from Matthew Gerard, and so he'll be turning around at Aaron Goodrick, who's going to get a good run here through the chicane, but you need to try and hit the brakes into the right of turn 13 and 14. Set yourself up on this hairpin. Oh, wiggle through the middle, and he's going to get turned for his troubles. Goodrick had no way of getting himself out of that one after the spin, and just like that, Matthew Gerard goes around, and I think it's his own fault for getting loose before he goes through. But we're down into the final minute of this race, and critically at 2 laps to go, because Jensen Bate should cross the line here, Braden, with about 10 seconds left on the clock, so he'll go around for one more go.
We certainly will. Looking back at the battle here, Sebastian Bate still holding off on the second place, built himself a bit of a gap to Fraser Clegg. Fraser's been playing too much defensive now with Alex Sprague, so I think everyone's just sort of settling down now, knowing that we are so close to the end of this one, and I'm not too sure if Fraser's going to, if Alex Sprague's going to try and make a move for third. Darren Lobb down in fifth at the moment, so so far so good. Here we go, coming around the final corner now. The clock ticks down, 10 seconds to go, and it looks as though he has crossed the finish line now, so we're now down to the minute. Here we go, Jensen Bate over turn 1. Coming through turns 2 and 3, gonna have to keep himself nice and tidy here. He's got Sebastian Bate for company behind him, and a few more battles happening here. Sprague's closed in a little bit on Fraser Clegg. I wonder if he's gonna be looking for anything, or if he's just holding back. Maybe trying to dangle the carrot, if you will, in front of Fraser. See if Fraser will crack a little bit. This is some good stuff here, Jake. Glad you could join us for this one here. Have your expertise on GT3 racing for Supercars NZ, mate. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, and what a run it is right now. Alex Sprague's going to have to try and get this chance then to go through. Fraser Clegg, though, hits his mark perfectly as Jensen Bate is about to take the final corner here, Brandon.
And Jensen Bate is about to go on through. Here he goes around the final corner, up to the start line, flashes the headlights. He will win the 20-minute sprint race here tonight at St. Petersburg. Well done to Jensen Bate. Sebastian Bate will come home in second, and Fraser Clegg will just hold on to third in the Red Bull Mustang. Alex Sprague for P4, Darren Lobb P5, Philip Antoon in P6, with Jaco Fenter coming home in 12th.
We just had an issue on the last lap, Braden O'Loughlin has been turned into the turn 4 wall by Nick Aston. Nick looked at that at race control and said he moved across on me in under braking. So it's going to be a little bit of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So they get the run here through turn 3 as they work over to turn 4. Aston makes his move as the defense is being shown. So that is a little late, and bang, that big contact for O'Loughlin costs him. He gets a secondary hit as he goes through as well, which doesn't offer him any favours. That would be Stefan Adams, who's got into the side with no way to avoid it, but dramatic to say the very least here, this race 1 of 2 tonight. Yeah, that's only the race 1 of 2. We still got the 30-minute feature coming up. What a way to end this one for sure. We'll just quickly round off the last of the results there. So Adam Hughes coming home in P8 with Blake Greenhall in P9, Lee Swinney in P10. So we flip those around, and Lee Swinney will lead us off for the next one. You can see the damaged McLaren there coming home around the corner there. Bit of a shame there for Braden O'Loughlin, I think that is. So yeah, there you go. Race 1 is in the books, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a quick 5-minute warm-up to just give everyone a chance to catch their breath and settle down. See Matthew Gerard coming around the corner there. Just not wanting to get into Braden O'Loughlin, who's cruising around the corner with that damaged car. Just shows you how difficult it is, as he will actually get timed out, Braden O'Loughlin, so he won't, in fact, be classified on the leading lap at the end of this race, Brandon. Such was the time he needed to get back round. He will be effectively the first of the cars at 1 lap down.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is the results for race 1. We're going to have a quick little break here, pop in a ad for our Sim Racing Hub app. We will be right back with race 2.
James here from Gamma Flare. Sim racing just got a serious upgrade. The Gamma Flare Sim Racing Hub is live. It's your command center. Track your stats, analyze lap records, check the standings, and lock in your schedule, all in one place. One-click registration gets you into any event, from grassroots battles to the Supercars NZ Championship. Register, race, and watch the points fight live as it happens. Follow your mates, build rivalries, and stay connected like never before. Scan the QR code now and join one of the fastest growing sim racing communities on the planet. Stop watching from the sidelines. Grab your spot on the grid. Engines are fired. Let's go racing. See you trackside, legends. Gamma Flare, Sim Blacks, Match Fit Entertainment, Supercars NZ, and Broadcasting Lounge have joined forces to give away an awesome sim racing hardware package. One winner will score this core hardware setup Track Racer TRS 40 cockpit, a Scala's Bucket Seat Fixed Pro, and the Moser R3 Racing Bundle. Click the competition link, fill out the entry form, submit your details, job done. Then make sure you're watching the live final of the Supercars NZ Winter Series on the Match Fit Entertainment YouTube channel. Good luck. We'll see you on the grid.
Like I said, I'm just trying to get experience. All right. Well, we are now back for race number 2 of this one. We still got a few minutes left in the warm-up. See if anyone decides to get out there and cut a few laps, maybe get a bit of practice in for this one. Jake, you've just had your first race with us on this MRP GT3 series. Your thoughts on that first one, mate?
So what you find a lot with NZ style racing is that the most common category of racing isn't in fact GT3 racing, but it's supercar style racing. That brings a touring style element to every driver's style of how they look to try and put their car and place their car. And often what you find from these sorts of leagues out there in this style of the world is that they're a lot more aggressive in GT spec than what you'll find in a European series. In a European series, for example, there'll be a lot more respect. There's not as much side-to-side contact. There's a lot more room. They are not giving a single inch out there into every move that they can. Part of that is because of just how rattled and caged up everyone's going to be at this St. Pete circuit. The other thing you are going to be finding here is that this is going to be, you know, one of these tracks where you're just trying to do what you can to just give yourself room to think, because the corners, they do fly in thick and fast around here. There aren't many people who are looking to go and get a home run, but here, when you remember, Al Lang Stadium has been a lovely spring training ground for the likes of the New York Giants. The New York Mets have been here, the St. Louis Cardinals. Someone's looking for a grand slam here today, and you're going to not get that by going to swing for the fences. Believe it or not, you just have to round the bases tonight, and it's as simple as that.
Mate, I couldn't have said that better myself. You can just sense the urgency of the drivers here as Fraser Clegg practicing some donuts.
It's going to pop soon, surely.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some used tires going up on the iRacing shop very soon from this Mustang. So we've got a minute and 10 seconds left to go. He's just practicing. Maybe he's practicing some victory donuts. Maybe he thinks he might try and get himself. Maybe he's confident in himself. He'll get a win in the 30-minute race. Which is going up next. There goes the engine. Okay, so one used Mustang engine for sale.
Well, I tell you what, Brandon, I think he was trying to create the longest crime out there in America, because it is a statutory state law that you cannot do 11Zs on the road, and he has just done an 11Z from pit lane all the way to turn 5.
Yeah, so I think he might get in trouble for that one for sure. Adam Hughes, you can see now out on the track right now, trying to just cut a couple laps, get himself ready for what is going to be an epic 30-minute race here. And I mean, look, earlier we had 20 minutes. Now we've got 30 minutes to play with. And no doubt the strategy is going to open up a bit more on when you want to take that pit stop for sure. So 15 seconds left in this one. Quick shout out about our sponsors. We have MRP, Sim Racing, we have Gamma Flare. Supercars NZ, of course, is the hosting party. Sim Blacks is a part of this as well. Don't forget the Winner Sim competition, and there you can see there's a track map of where we're playing tonight. The playground looks doesn't look as menacing, but when you're out on track, it looks pretty daunting.
Yeah, it very much does. I will have to correct myself on Sean McNamara, because apparently I didn't know there were two of them. So I'll squint a little bit harder and see there's a U, not a W, and go on forward. But we're getting ourselves ready for this second race. So an extra 10 minutes on the clock is going to offer, I think, more room to go out there and set your race up the way you want to, Brandon.
It certainly will. Strategy will open up. Excuse me, for this one. We take a look at our grid. Lee Swinney, who is our pole sitter for this one, for having finished P10 in the last race. Blake Greenhall and another Ferrari alongside him. So 2 Ferraris will lead us off. Adam Hughes out of P3. Good spot for him. He'll be happy about that one. Jaco Fenter out of 4. Philip Antoon out of P5 with Darren Lobb out of 6. Alex Sprague in the Lamborghini out of P7 with Fraser Clegg for P8. And then the 2 Bade, Sebastian Bade and Jensen Bade, will be P9 and P10.
It's all McLarens on row 6. Brooke Wilson will be alongside Sean McNamara, as Aaron Goodrick will see the Corvette of Wright-Off Jenkins there in Calprint in 14th position. You then have the likes then of Matt Priest, who has worked his way all the way up to 15th in that first race, and Matthew Gerard in 16th spot. As you look around, you'll see the likes there of Nick Aston in 17th and Stefan Adams in 18th spot. They will now roll off with Peter Blackie 19th and Scott Kinder rounding out your top 20.
Braden O'Loughlin out of 21 with Vota Blitzer out of 22. Robert Henry out of 23 with Jed Adams out of 24. Jonathan Turner and Dylan Shepherd rounding out 25 and 26. Zach Wentz-Smith out of 27 is there. And then, of course, unfortunately, Kyle Bork. Unfortunately, his PC crashed, which was a bit of a shame in that first one. And don't forget, we also have our lovely race control, Louis Robertson, Dion de Graaf, Dylan Radford, Grant Bristow, and Peter Vanderberg.
I have just noticed that Valter Botha, Braden O'Loughlin, and Nick Aston have all elected to start this race from pit lane. It was a short grid-up time before getting themselves started, so they may have just missed the start, thinking there would be 2 minutes on this grid hold to get themselves going. There was only the 1 minute, so they had to be very, very alert to get themselves up onto grid, and unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, depending on how lap 1, turn 1, turn 2 went, they start this one from pit lane here.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be one to watch out for as Jaco Venter. We look at him now, a bit of a gap now to Adam Hughes. Adam Hughes leaving himself some space to be able to warm up the tyres on that Mustang. Now, you don't have to be directly behind your rival at the start of the warm-up lap, but we'll see how it plays out once you get around turn number 10. We've seen action aplenty at a few of these corners tonight so far, Jake, and we're about to see some more now. We've got 30 minutes of it on the clock. How do we think this one's going to play out? Do you reckon we see a repeat of what we saw in race 1?
That is a very wide line by Adam Hughes, by the way, going almost into the runoff area to go by. I don't think we see a direct replica of it, but what I do think we see is a lot of aggression out there from various drivers. There are cars that are mired back in the pack that want to try and jump forward and prove what they've got, and so I'd be turning around looking at this race as we head to the start. Watch for those who want to absolutely charge up the order.
Yeah, here we go. Now they're all going to close up now. Watch the braking, trying to get into the back of anyone on the start. Here we go. Still rounding the corner as the last of the pack. Lights are about to go on. Lights are off. The flag is waving. We're away for 30 minutes. And what a start. Look at this. 4 wide, 5 wide even as we go down to turn 1. Watch for Philip Antoon down the center. And Adam Hughes is going to come back and say, nope, I will take this one. He leads us away.
Still some 2-3 widers contact in the middle there as Sebastian Bay gets into Brooke Wilson, but they're all going to try and fan. There's a big bit of contact. Jaco Venter around trying to avoid more contact down the main straight, collects someone with him out there for company. Darren Lobb, I think it was, but ultimately it's going to be a case of a few isolated incidents out there here and there. More traumas at turn 5 by the looks of things. It's just trying to get through, and more hits there. Henry into the back of Aaron Goodrick here. It is a chain of events here that is just firing off like just a blue touch paper lit in a fireworks factory.
It certainly has. Oh, look at the damage for Darren Lobb on the front of that Ferrari. He's missing the front splitter. He's got a lot of damage to the front of that car. Robert Henry going past, and so is Peter Blackie. So we've got a lot of incidents to unfold here. Oh, look at that steering there. Left hand down, and he's going straight. That is absolutely terrible steering there for Darren Lobb. He's going to have to come into the lane. There's no way he can last 5 minutes with that steering. But Adam Hughes leads us away with Alex Sprague in second, Fraser Clegg in third. You're right, there was Darren Lobb involved there with Jaco Fence, and I think Dylan Shepherd, unfortunately, was the innocent bystander trying to get through. Brooke Wilson up into P4 with Sebastian Bade in P5. What a start we've had here. This is absolutely epic stuff, Jake.
Yeah, definitely hasn't been Dylan Shepherd's night. Anybody who comes in and pits before the opening 5 minutes cannot have their pit stop count as compulsory, so they'd have to come in again to go around on circuit. Onboard view then here as we push on here. This is Sean McNamara then that's being watched at here from Philip Antoon, who had a really good break on the start. He's gone in too deep there, and that was entirely predictable from that angle. McNamara there, the track jammed up then as they go on through at the top of the circuit at turn 8 in towards turn 9. That is a nightmare scenario, and they might have to look at trying to give some help for Antoon to get around. That's almost caught Nick Aston out.
So that's the problem with trying to get around in a tight street circuit like this. When you go around like that, you cannot go around when you want. You have to wait for almost the whole field and wait for an opening to spin around, as Sebastian Bayes down to onto the back here of the McLaren of Brooke Wilson, who's defending hard, moving right. Will hold off the defensive line there. Sebastian Bay going to try and go around the outside. Brooke still defending. Oh, that was mighty close there between the two. Still on the...
Brooke Wilson here is not afraid to get his elbows out, but Sebastian Bade is substantially quicker by the way he's piloting around. He gets to the inside. Wilson holds that outside. It turns to the inside here, but he's got to try and be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more elbows out there, because you give the inside here into turn 7. Look, he's going to muscle his way through. That Mustang doesn't move for nobody as he goes through, and so the clearance made. And also worth noting, black flag penalty is administered by race stewards to Zach Vance-Smith. So that's one driver then who's had to serve a drive-through penalty. But good effort at defence there from Brooke Wilson, but Sebastian Bade just too good.
Yeah, Sebastian Bade knows how to use the Mustang, push his way through, gets it done. So at a street circuit like St. Petersburg, he's turned that into a street fight. Blake Greenhall now has got Jensen Bade for company behind him.
Tell you what, they're not done. Sebastian Bade ran a little bit wide, and Brooke Wilson had a little sniff down the inside. Greenhall and Jensen Bade having a good race as well. So the two Bades trying to get up there. And also, we're talking about race lead, because Alex Sprague here has got Adam Hughes for company. There's the move down the inside as Jensen Bade gets by Blake Greenhall. But now for the race lead, here's Sprague. He wants the run here on Hughes. He's not going to get it here into turn 4 as they run through the very dusty car park and over away towards turn 7 and 8.
This is our championship fight right here. Adam Hughes trying to do his best to get as much points ahead of Sprague as he can before the final. Remember, it's 100 points difference coming into this round here at the MRP Championship for the Winter Series. Alex Sprague now knows how to fight, and he knows where to put that Lamborghini, the Autumn Moves Racing Academy Lamborghini. Through turn 10 they come, down towards 11 and 12. We'll see if Alex decides to make any moves here, or does Adam go defensive? It looks like he will, so he goes defensive, places that Mustang in just the right spot, coming out of the final corner onto the main straightaway once again. Power down past our wall camera, and look at the gap they've already opened up on the rest of the field there, Jake.
Yeah, they're flying, and that's the key. They built the margin from how aggressive everyone was early. They're 5 seconds clear of Fraser Clegg, who's in that 3rd spot, with Sebastian Bade then that follows on. But I tell you what, they've got the gap, and so now Alex Sprague wants to get this done. Oh, he thought about it there. Moved over into the mirror, tried to force a line of Adam Hughes to outbrake himself there. It's the biggest trick in the book. And what you see out there, that style of move, Brandon, it's actually quite Lewis Hamilton-ish in terms of the way that you look to go about it. You've put yourself on the line and say, no, I was never going to go for the move anyway. But then you make the driver think in front of you, and defending, you're like, well, I don't know when he's going to make the move or how he's going to make the move. Pit window is now open.
Yeah, there you go. That's right there. Play a bit of mind games with your rival, and you might be able to get something done here. The gap is now less than 0.3 of a second. Or is anything going to happen here? But now, with it being a 30-minute race, do you pit early or do you pit a little bit later? You've got a little bit more freedom to go for it and choose when you want it to happen. Still coming down the front straight right now. It's now 0.3 of a second, so it's still opening up there. Sebastian Bade looking for some moves on Fraser Clegg as Brooke Wilson now comes to the lane. get the compulsory pit stop done for him.
Yeah, so important here for Brooke Wilson. Just keep yourself out of trouble, find yourself a gap in the air. And this is where maybe you're looking around at a series like this. Might be useful in this scenario to go have a spotter. Only one driver is actually running a spotter tonight, a dedicated driver spotter, and that is Robert Henry. He's got Paul McKenzie in his ear helping him out as we take a look then from behind then with the likes of Adam Hughes. Now, this is something I wasn't expecting to say straight away here, Brandon. Lap traffic. And there's Sean McNamara, who'd just gone around in front of them there. He just pulls himself back to pits. He's had contact out there with the wall, and so that was in a very awkward spot on the circuit.
Yeah, that was a very awkward there. Here we go, Gamma Flare replay. We're going to, as our producer says, we're going to throw Sean under the bus here. So here we go, just getting past Robert Henry here. So what's happened with old Sean? Not too sure.
Dare I say it? Dare I say it? He has not put enough throttle down.
Not enough throttle down. I think it might be the right call there, Jake. That was absolutely just out of the blue, coming out of the right-hander, and then just going exit stage right into the walls there. Lucky enough not to stop any battles happening up and down the grid here. But you're right, Jake. Going back to your point on lap traffic there. It's a bit early in the race for what you'd think about for lap traffic, but you think about all the damage caused from the start of the race and those that had to pit to get the damage repaired. Although it may not have counted for a pit stop, they had to get it done because the cars just weren't handling very well. And we're talking about lap traffic here now. Look at this, Rydolph Jenkins in front of this battle here, and Adam Hughes was flashing the headlights before, trying to get the attention of Christian Jenkins here, trying to make sure that he gets out of the way and make sure that he knows that they're coming.
Yeah, so this is going to be important to try and get through and say, look, I've got to try and clear this traffic. I've got to try and get through. And, you don't want to be on the grass in the Corvette. That's going to make life very tough then for them to go and get by. And so they are going to have to manage it, and he is going to have to pull over to the right potentially. But remember, this is GT-style racing. There is no requirement to move over as lap traffic. It is advisory blue flags, not mandatory blue flags. And there is the clearance down through turn one. Comfortable. Both of them are going to get through. And that's just a case of being better on the brakes. But just going back to the McNamara incident there, Brandon, why I say he hasn't put the throttle down on that incident is that you are very much reliant on two forms of grip. Aerodynamic grip, that comes from the likes of the spoiler on the back of the car, all of the body work and trying to make sure that the car can sit down in the air, and mechanical grip, what the tyres are giving you. If you don't put enough aerodynamic grip down when you're going through the corners, the mechanical grip of the car will not be enough to keep it through. That's why McNamara spun the tyres up on the exit. Yeah,
great point there, Jake. Thank you for getting us all educated on that one there. I actually didn't even think of that one, to be honest with you. But yeah, you're right. So unfortunately, not working in his favour. We'll look back at the battle here between the two Mustangs for third, Fraser Clegg and Sebastian Bade. No, he's very, very close at this stage as Sebastian. He might be looking for a move, or he's just playing the Lewis Hamilton move, trying to see if Fraser can make a mistake. Oh, very close, middle of the hairpin there. He gets to Fraser, so now the battle is still on here, the 22 and the 37 going at it here at St. Petersburg. So we're 10 minutes down, just about 10 minutes down in this one. Oh, you can see Fraser having a second stab at the brakes there through turn one, trying to get the car slowed down. Oh, bit of curb there for Sebastian Bade, almost into the wall. And that would have unfortunately touched his race up a little bit of damage there on Fraser that I'm seeing there on the front right, the front right of the Mustang.
That's definitely not going to be doing any favours if he's got damage, and yes, he does. So the corner is exposed slightly there on the front right. So that's not going to be helping his fuel numbers. It's not going to be helping him through the corners. And so that knock up on the front, he is going to be looking around at any left-hand corner, hoping he's got something that he's got to go through. So he's walking a little bit wounded. You're seeing that here from Sebastian Bade, that he wants to get close. But I think Fraser Clegg's putting the car in all of the right places here. He's just finding his marks, trying to hit the defensive pack. Again, Sebastian Bade close, but not close enough. And look at the line here that Fraser Clegg takes to the final corner. He is desperate for drive off the exit. He diamonds off the line to say, look, I want to make sure there is no worry for me into turn one. This lap, though, is going to get very, very close. He gets right up underneath. This is scaremongering right now, as he has got the two Bades waiting and saying, look, it's going to be a foreboding moment here for Fraser Clegg when they start deciding to make moves.
A certain one for sure. You can see how close Sebastian was getting. The nose of the Mustang almost disappearing under the camera. That's how close he was. And look for Jensen now. He's going to be looking for some moves. I don't think he's going to want to play the game here and want to just let Sebastian take this one. I think he wants to get past both of them. And that's it out there. Every man for himself. Here we go now down towards the back straightaway. Down in towards turn number 10 we go. One more time. We'll see if anything can happen here. Bade's very strong in this section of the track, and that is Sebastian I'm talking about. He's very strong in this section of the track. A little bit of a touch of the wall there for Fraser, I think it was. I saw a little bit of smoke off the wall there through 11 and 12. But down into 13. Midway through 14. Watch for Jensen. Well, a bit of a slide there for Sebastian on exit. I think he might have got the power down a little bit more sooner than what Fraser did. Here we go. Defensive move coming. Oh, no way. Oh.
Yes way. Yes way, and that's so smart. That is so smart. Sebastian Bade really opened up the corner. Clegg realised, I'm going to have to let him down the inside, but I'm going to pinch him. And look at this. This is a case of multi-21, Jensen. I am faster than you. And so he goes, look, I'm going to go through. It's now Sebastian Bade behind. Jensen Bade is now going to have his turn because it's taken too long. It's also worth noting, Philip Antoon has been given a black flag by race control.
Absolutely. Unfortunately for Philip Antoon there with a black flag. We'll see. Hopefully we'll know what that one's about. The battle still continues here. Shane, have you got any update for us on that black flag there, mate?
Yeah, can confirm Philip Antoon was for the contact there with Sean McNamara that saw him turned around on lap 2. Just a question on strategy as well, as we're seeing these battles unfold at the point end of the field. The battle for the lead between Adam Hughes and Alex Sprague, and also Fraser Clegg there being chased down by the two Bades. At what point, if you're the trailing car in these battles, as we see the move go, that is not the question I was going to ask. The question I was going to ask, at what point do you dive to pit lane if you're getting held up behind another car in these type battles? Get some fresh air on the front of the car. Yes, you will put weight in the car, but if you can get some good, clean, fresh air laps, you may be able to do quick enough laps to jump the car in front. At what point do those trailing cars pull the trigger on that strategy?
I think Jake might be able to answer that one. He's been doing this a little longer than that. But yeah, as Jake said, maybe even now you'd want to pull that trigger, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and just a clip of wall there from Alex Sprague is going to be enough for him to drop back. Now, he's got two options here. Either he drops back 6, 7, 8 tenths of a second. He's got to come in and give himself something that pulls him back into order. Or he's got to look at this and say, right, am I going to have enough to say I can move on up and get the pass? If he can't make the pass out on circuit, he's got to come in. But they are looking at this going, we want a car as light as possible for as long as possible. Not shocked to see Alex Sprague now coming into the pit. He's been held up. That little bit of contact would have probably been the tipping point of saying, I've had enough.
Yeah, I think he's pushed a little too hard. And unfortunately, like you said, that little touch into the wall, unfortunately, has set his sights on the pits and gone, okay, you know what, let's pull out. Let's get some fresh tyres on. Let's maybe fix any damage that this car might have. Let's see if we can battle Adam Hughes with a fresher car. Jensen Bade looking here behind Fraser Clegg through 2, 3, and 4. A driver's eye view coming up for you here down in towards turn number 5. You can see how much Fraser's just on that brake pedal. Does something happen here? Jensen looking left, looking right. Maybe try a little bit of a fake move. Just try and get Fraser to make a small mistake. That might be all it takes here. Halfway through this one for round 10 of the MRP GT3 Winter Series. Oh, look how Jensen's looking for a move there on Fraser. Oh, little touch there. And someone's lost the spoiler, I believe. Oh, big spin there. Oh.
That's Nick Aston, who's lost his spoiler and finds himself in the barrier. So we saw that spoiler that had departed, and it was directly in front of them. So ultimately for Nick Aston, he's got to wait to get that on turned around and back out there and running again. So he's had his issue. We'll catch a look here on the Gamma Flare instant replay here. This is through turn 4, so this is very early. And again, look, he's trying to get it to rotate through the corner, stamp on the throttle as he looks to try and work through over towards turn 7, turn 8 here. And again, yeah, he's just trying to stamp the throttle down, puts too much revolution through the steering wheel, not enough rotation for the aerodynamic grip to kick in, so the back just steps around as easy as that, and then a secondary spin with the lack of grip that's there. Jensen Bade, lucky as he hit the wall coming through this section. Last place you want to spin, right in front of some leaders as lap traffic.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate there. So he's still going out there as Nick Aston in the very aerodynamically deficient car there, actually, because it's got almost no aerodynamics on that car left. But you can see now Jensen Bade looking for some moves on Fraser Cleek still there. Remember, these guys still have to come in. Adam Hughes into the pit lane. So he's made the call, trying to maybe cover off Alex Sprague. Round the final corner we go for these three. Nothing there. Coming up, take a look at a replay here. It's Peter Blackie parked up on the side of the circuit.
Safety car deployed.
Oh,
what a time for that, and it would be deployed because of the car that was on the side of the road by the looks of things.
Sprague nearly into the tyres. Sorry about that, Jake. You're right. Sorry, safety car is out, but oh, Alex Sprague nearly into the tyre wall. And that looked like he had just come out of the pit lane. But now the safety car is out.
This is terrible timing for our leaders, because the leaders had passed pit entry when safety car was called, but the safety car got out ahead of them and has been able to pick the leader up, and these guys have not had the opportunity to get into the pits, and the field is going to bunch up behind them. Those top 5 cars that have not yet pitted are going to drop like stones when they do come to the pits now.
And that's going to hurt as well, because you consider who came in here, Brandon, just before the safety car was deployed, by about 3 seconds before the safety car was deployed. Adam Hughes in the 24.
Yeah, Adam Hughes called in that one. I think he was more focused on trying to cover off Alex Sprague in that one. And as Shane just pointed out to us, the top 5, we're going to see where they drop to. This safety car has helped Adam Hughes, but has pretty much dropped Fraser, Jensen, Sebastian Leith and Blake in it, because now they've still got to make their pit stops. And remember, the 25-minute mark is when the pit window closes. So it is absolutely going to be on, and they are in the pits now along with Darren Lobb. So they've all come in to make their stops and get them out the way, which means they'll have fresh tyres for the restart. But
how are they going to rule this here, Brandon? Because Jaco Venter in the 714 has been told to redress with the 100. Jaco's just come in for his stop. Right off Jenkins has stayed out.
Okay, that'll be a interesting ruling there. I'm sure Shane, who's listening on race control, might be able to give us a bit more insight on that one. Not too sure how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that on the moment. I didn't quite catch whether that was a redress for an incident or if it was just order at the time when the safety car was called. If it was a redress for an incident, then they will most likely just have to call that as incomplete, and there will probably be another penalty assigned to that. Whether it be, I doubt it will be a drive-through penalty if they've just asked for a redress, but it may be a post-race time penalty.
Thank you for the update there, Shane. And we'll have a quick look down the order at some of the other cars while we have this quick little break. Aaron Goodrick coming through there in the McLaren MP11 at the moment. And then behind him is Lee Swinney, who was started on pole for this one in the Ferrari, courtesy of finishing P10. There's Blake Greenhall just in behind him. And behind them is Darren Lobb, who came in with our leading group to maybe chuck on maybe a fresh set of tyres or fuel or get some damage fixed. Not too sure what happened there. Scott Kinder in behind him in the other McLaren. Then we have a couple more McLarens behind them with Vota Buerta and Matthew Gerard following behind that. Vota looks like he's missing the front end of that McLaren. A bit unfortunate. Not too sure where he's lost that one. And then looking back here at the Jonathan Turner Mercedes, trying to catch up to the field at this stage. Philip Antoon, not our leader. Might have to get a bit of a wave by or something, or maybe they might have them come in with Christian Jenkins and then Braden O'Loughlin.
He's done it straight out of pits. Sorry, I've just gone back and looked at that for Valtteri Bottas. He came straight out of pits, straight into the rear of Jonathan Turner then as he merged. It's one of the more unique rejoins out there because you go straight up onto speed, and if you've got someone at the apex of turn 2, they're not expecting a car. That was a malfunction at the junction. It forced Jonathan Turner into the wall, and also into the wall behind into the back was Matthew Gerard.
Oh, okay then. So that was a bit of a whoopsie daisy for a lot of people there. But now I'm just trying to figure out. So now we know what happened to Vota. Here we go. Here's a replay. It's got Gerard. Oh, okay. So he's backed up to let Gerard through.
I think this is live.
Take a look here and just see what happened.
Okay.
So out of pit lane we go.
Okay, so that one's fine because we're looking here with Braden O'Loughlin here at this moment, but the issue would come along right in the middle of that pit stop window.
Okay, so thank you for that one, Jake. Yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a moment there for... Oh, there's Jaco now going past, so I think he might be...
Wave around
happening. So we're going to get our wave arounds happening, and then hopefully we'll get the proper leader at the back. And as I say that, there he is there. So might be more wave rounds happening, or is that safety car now going to come into the lane? It looks like we might get another lap under safety car here, Jake.
There's not long left in this race. We're already down to just 7 minutes, and I'm looking around at who's been the big profiteers from it. Matt Priest, Brooke Wilson, 3rd and 4th, Jet Adams and Robert Henry. They have done a huge job out there. 5th and 6th from the 11th and 12th row. Sorry, yeah, the 12th row of the grid, the pair of them, 5th and 6th. And who said you can't overtake Brandon on a street circuit?
Oh, whoever says that, I think might have to watch this race and rethink that statement there, because you can take at a street circuit. You can overtake at a street circuit. It just takes bravery and strategy. That's all it takes. Matt Priest in the Mustang there in the back. I'm sure he's enjoying sitting there at the moment. Jet Adams just behind him, up 19 spots from where he started there. So good on Jet. So you can see there just on our timing tower on our left there, our biggest movers and shakers on who's done what. So Fraser Clegg down in 7th, Jensen in 8th, Sebastian in 9th. So they've made their pit stops happen. We've got just under 6 minutes left in this one. And we're looking at our leader here. Hopefully we'll get a restart this time round. Just waiting to see what the safety car does.
Safety car is now pulled away, so we are going to get a restart on this lap. And critically, we were talking about how Fraser Clegg, Jensen Bate, Sebastian Bate, they go down the order. Yeah, safety car's pushing a little bit too hard out there. Careful, we might need that for the next couple rounds. Issue that you're going to run into, they haven't actually dropped that far back. They've only lost maybe 4 spots compared to where they would have been otherwise. It's still gettable for them, top 5s and podiums.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on Fraser Clegg and the 2 Bade boys. See where they end up. Robert Henry in 6th. Like you said, he's the only one with a spotter in his ear, a live spotter in his ear, telling him what is what. So we've got 5 minutes left in this one. Adam Hughes in the Mustang, Sprague in the Lamborghini, and don't forget about the McLaren of Brooke Wilson. Here we go. Restart underway. Adam Hughes leads us away. Let's go racing one more time at St. Pete for the last 5 minutes of this one.
jamming into turn 1. Everyone happy in single file through the first 6, 7, 8. It's only when you get back to Lee Swinney that there's moves with Stefan Adams, who's run deep through the opening corner. They'll get themselves to charge up, then through 2, along Salvador Dali Way, and over now towards turn 4. Leaders happy with their positioning at the moment here. It's all about, do you hold your line? And Adam Hughes has done this all race long. And you look behind there, Matt Priest seemingly going to be the block up at the moment with Adams, Henry, Clegg, Bade, Goodrich, all there, all trying to figure out, okay, what's the way we leapfrog up this order? We are running fast out of laps.
Certainly running fast out of laps there, Jake, and we're down the back straight now to turn 10. On board with Jensen Bade, who's going to be looking for some move spot. Fraser Clegg. Fraser's a little touch into the wall there. On the entry, Jensen hit the wall on the exit of turn 10. Hopefully that doesn't hinder his performance too much as they come through 11 and 12. Fraser Clegg now looking for a move on Robert Henry into the hairpin. Oh, them all bunch up into the corner there. Matt Priest trying to stay ahead of Jet Adams and salvage a P4 out of this one. More battles happening here. Back to the Fraser Clegg Robert Henry battle. Robert Henry going to go defensive on Fraser Clegg. Might be looking for a move at the same time on Jet. Oh, touch. Oh no, Robert Henry's off. Oh,
and heavily damaged. A hefty hit there going through turn 2. It was looking like it was going to go that way. Fraser was never going to back out of it, and he's decided, right, I'm going to get through any which way I can. There is your leaders, and suddenly a gap that is forming out there here for Alex Sprague. He can't really claw back down. It's now out over a second here, and Jensen Bade not happy on the radio here with Fraser Clegg, who pushed him right down at turn 5 and said, look, you forced me off the road. You can't do that.
Jensen Bade blowing up a little bit there. And looking, a bit of a touch there for Sebastian Bade on the wall as well. So both Bade boys pushing really, really hard, trying to get themselves up into a few more positions there. Not so sure how that's going to turn out now with race control. Race control will certainly have something to say about all that. Might have to wait till a report comes out at the end of this one, Jake, and we'll see where what the report card says. Matt Priest still in 4th at the moment, trying to defeat from Jet Adams. Fraser Clegg still holding off in P6 at the moment. Position swap there between Darren Lobb and Lee Swinney, a little bit back on the timing tower. Bit of a slide out there for Jensen Bade. This is some fantastic stuff here to end our night of racing.
I think we're at 2 laps to go when they next cross the line, so it means that next lap will be the last lap of this race. But Fraser Clegg has turned away from defence. He's now got his eyes set on Jet Adams here and trying to get a top 5 finish. Brooke Wilson currently is going to be standing on the podium at the end of this one. Matt Priest, who, remember, didn't qualify. The car started at the very back through the night, has got himself all the way up to 4th place. He's driver of the day caliber with the way that he's been going about business. But look at the run that Fraser Clegg gets here on Dan Weldon Way. Looking right, looking left, up, down, left, right, sideways, slantways. Can't get the move that he wants around the outside, but he is probably going to set up this run to turn 1, and he gets a good run, but the front lets go slightly on that get-go. Is that enough of a defence then for Jet Adams here, heading on to the final lap of this race to go and hold this defence? A look to the inside, a look back to the outside. He tries to out-muscle him, out-brake him. If he can get the inside at 2 here, Clegg's got it, but no, has to back out through 2, and that's going to compromise to 4.
I can see Clegg really getting wide there on the exit of 3 there. Watch for Jensen now. He might be looking for a move here. Down the inside into 5. Maybe just showing the nose a little bit. Big defence there coming from Fraser Clegg. Watch out for Jensen here though. He won't give up this one. He'll want to get past Fraser as much as he can. Get some more points towards his tally. Oh, you can see how slow Fraser is through there. Coming down now the back straight away. I think Jet Adams is maybe playing a little bit of hold up here, and this might be helping Jensen Bade, that's for sure, through turn 10. Here we go. Oh, touch there for Sebastian Bade out the corner towards 11 and 12.
Checkers out.
Lost on it. Checkered flag is out. Oh, watch for Jensen there. Adam Hughes will come across the line and will win the 30-minute feature, get some more points towards his championship table. Alex Sprague in 2nd, Brooke Wilson in 3rd on return. Well done to Brooke Wilson in the McLaren, and Matt Priest, like you said, started off the back.
Drag race. Sorry, writes off Jenkins in a drag race with Jonathan Turner to the line, and he's going to be short by 200.
Wow. Oh, man, what a finish there. Hopefully we can maybe scrap that one a little bit there on replay. Jed Adams in 5th with Fraser Clegg in 6th. Jensen Bate out of 7th with Sebastian Bate in 8th. Darren Lobb in P9 and Aaron Goodrick in P10. Well, 30 minutes of an iconic feature. What a race we had there, Jake.
And it was put together in 2 halves, and it was important to note that it was intense defensive work for Adam Hughes. It was intense defensive work for Fraser Clegg against the Bade brothers. But critically, that safety car coming out right in the middle of a pit stop window certainly didn't put help to those who had not made the call to come in. And Adam Hughes will be very lucky, because if he had decided in this race here, Brandon, to stay out 1 lap further, that race would not be his. We'd be talking about Alex Sprague walking to the bank.
We certainly would. We're going to wait and see when our drivers want to come in for a little bit of a post-race interview. We'll just wait and see if anyone jumps in. But that was an epic, epic race. I really enjoyed that and really enjoyed calling it with you, Jake. Absolutely awesome to get your expertise on that one. Shane, before we go into anything, have you got anything more from race control for us?
Yeah, very, very important update from race control. P3 on track, Brooke Wilson has been disqualified. He did not complete the compulsory pit stop correctly. Sounds like he failed to change 2 tyres there, which is the requirement.
Oh, no. So, Brooke Wilson unfortunately getting disqualified. That moves Matt Priest up into P3. We'll grab Alex Sprague to start off our interviews here tonight. Alex Sprague, welcome to the podium here for the broadcast announce. P2 for you, mate. Not a bad run at all. And I think he might still be muted. There you go, Alex. You with us?
Yep.
Yeah, awesome stuff, mate. Well, P2, mate, congratulations. What a run for you.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, a decent night, I suppose. Still pretty disappointed, to be honest, after putting it on pole and getting taken out in race 1. Obviously, tonight, this track's probably the most important track on the calendar to have have a good quali, because it's so hard to pass. But yeah, it sort of put me on the back foot a bit. But yeah, managed to claw my way back to get a pretty decent points off the night. So yeah, not bad.
Well, unfortunately, getting involved in that turn 2 incident on race 1, but you've managed to claw it back and got yourself a good result, a good consolidation of points for the championship in this one.
Yeah, obviously I felt as soon as I drove on this track, the pace was pretty strong and felt like we were going to have a pretty strong night. And then race 2 managed to get a really good start and get into P2 pretty early on, and was just tucked in behind Adam, sort of following him, and then was deciding what call to make in the pit stops, and decided to go early, and then safety car sort of ruined my chance towards the end as it stayed out for quite a while. And then, yeah, I just made a wee mistake with a couple laps to go and hit the wall, so I decided to just back off a bit and just bring home P2.
No, you certainly made the right call there. Just, look, 2 rounds left to go in this one. Red Bull Ring is our next track. How do you feel like you're going to go for that one?
Yeah, I actually haven't done any laps in a GT3 car there yet, so I'll try and do some laps when I can and see how it goes. But from what I've driven previously, the Red Bull Ring seems to be a pretty cool track. Obviously, it's pretty wide, so hopefully it can make some good racing.
It certainly will. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go for the night there, Alex?
Yeah, I'll just give a shout out to everyone at the Auto Moves team, Apex Lab, Simblax, Edge Overlays, Simrap Market, Magic, Pat Skeet Designs, and everything Jordan does for the team. Cheers.
Absolutely awesome stuff. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, Alex. We'll see you next week for the Red Bull Ring.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No worries. Well, that was Alex Sprague, P2 for the feature race here tonight. We have now got in Adam Hughes, and Jake's got him.
Yeah, I certainly do here. Adam, important round for you considering the championship implications that a street circuit often brings. A Heat 1 that found yourself mired in after the lap 1 dramas and the penalty that you came through, but the opportunity to start from third in that second heat gave you the chance to get to the lead early.
Yeah, for sure. First and foremost, probably just an apology to Alex. I didn't mean to dump him that lap 1, turn 2 incident. I thought he was going to hang out wide, so it was certainly on me, so I'll wear that. So apologies to him. But yeah, race 2 certainly went better. Good points. Unfortunately, Alex is right, dead set behind me in second, so that sort of didn't build a points buffer that I was hoping for this round. But look, can't complain. Certainly better than, sort of DNFing. So yeah, certainly can't complain.
What's been the preparation level like over at OPR Gamma Flare, getting yourself set up and ready for racing action here? Because it's not one of the most well-driven circuits in the world of iRacing. It's one of the newer ones as well. So how much time, effort, preparation, and understanding has gone into St. Pete here this week?
I'd say a decent amount of prep. I know the Mustang is relatively weak compared to the Lamborghini around here. I know the Lambo was insanely quick around this place. So there's little information for myself, but yeah, we just had to capitalise on basically sort of a few nights worth of testing and running. And honestly, to be honest, it was just mainly a damage limitation night. That's all it was, trying to limit the amount of damage that Alex could put on myself for this particular event or particular night. So yeah, that's all it is. I was just mainly right now going forward, it's Oz forward for Red Bull Ring and wherever the next track is. I can't quite remember, but yeah, it's going to be hopefully 100% balls to the wall, so to speak.
Let's talk about that Red Bull Ring circuit, because we just had the interview with Alex, who said, I've not done a lap here in GT3 spec around this circuit. So for you, you must be coming in with a lot more experience of what that style of racing is going to be like. And actually what we see a lot from Red Bull Ring style racing being really aggressive in terms of how you've got to overtake, slipstream, and then re-overtake.
Yeah, correct. It's going to be a horsepower dominated track, obviously, and the other thing too is slipstream. It's a good fuel saving mechanism, I reckon. Even so, there won't be many safety cars because the track's quite wide and open. Whereas obviously St. Pete's is very much a concrete jungle. I think it's just Bathurst with all the concrete walls, but on a much smaller scale. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. But I think it'll be a lot safer than what tonight has been. That's for sure.
Well, that will be some solace for you on what was a very pent-up field here today. Adam Hughes, your winner in Heat 2 and 8th place in Heat number 1, Brandon.
Yeah, fantastic to get our top 2 there. We don't have anyone else waiting for us in the waiting room. So before we send this one off for the night, Jake, final thoughts from you, mate. You've joined us now at a very iconic and busy street circuit for round 10 of the MRP GT3 Winter Series. First thoughts and anything else you want to add for the night's racing?
Well, the quality of the field's really good. I think it has to be said here that the front of the field races really aggressive. They race hard and they race fair amongst each other. And there is that level of respect that you see between the drivers that often sometimes does go missing out there in the world of sim racing when everyone's trying to be at each other's throats. But I look around at what this field has offered, and there are some really good drivers who are coming up that are showing what they're capable of. And they've shown what their talents are at a circuit which often hides and masks certain levels of talent because you don't get to go up to top speeds. You don't get to fight as hard because you're constantly thinking corner to corner to corner and you can't make overtakes. There have been some wonderful drives up through this field that take a lot of respect. And more importantly than that, you set them loose on the Red Bull Ring after this last week, they are going to be chomping at the bit to make moves. 3 wides, 4 wides if they want to go and make it. I'll tell you what, if we thought this was a cracking race here at St. Pete over 2, I'd look at the Red Bull Ring and go, hold on to your hats because next week's going to be something all right.
It certainly will be. Well, thank you so much, Jake, for joining us here tonight. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you join us, and welcome to the Broadcasting Lounge and Supercars NZ. Well, folks, that is it from us here tonight for round 10 of the MRP GT3 Winter Series. My name is Brandon Stark. Our producer was Wayne Bloor. Race Control helping us out was Shane White. And, of course, we had Jake Sparry on commentary. We'll see you next time.
The Supercars NZ Triple Crown V8's Gen 3 Team Series is back. 3 endurance races, 3 iconic circuits, and 1 championship title. First place takes $1,000, second takes $600, and third receives $300. Plus, there's over $1,000 in extra prizes and giveaways, all in New Zealand dollars. Entry is free with a live broadcast and race control, but grid spots are limited. Powered by Simblacks, with support from our fantastic partners. Sign up now and chase the Triple Crown. Now, let's head back to the racing